is forced. It's a running joke between us that we are so different. If we weren't sisters, we would hate each other. She'd find me boring and I would find her annoying, but because we're sisters and only 12 months apart, our differences somehow work. We have our moments of tension, but we never let an argument end without a resolution. And the older we get, the less we argue and the more we hang out. But now that she's dating Chris's best friend, Jonah, the four of us have spent almost every waking hour together as a group since Chris and Jonah graduated high school last month. My mother could be the source of my recent mood, but that wouldn't make sense. Her absence isn't anything new. In fact, I'm more accepting of the fact that Jenny and I got the short end of the stick in the parent department. She's been inactive in our lives since our father died 5 years ago. I was more bitter about having to parent Jenny back then than I am now. The older I get, the less it bothers me that she's not the type of mother to meddle in our lives, give us a curfew, or care. It's honestly kind of fun being 17 and given the freedom most kids my age would dream of. Nothing has changed in my life recently to explain this profound emptiness I've been feeling. Or maybe it has, I'm just too afraid to notice it. Guess what? Jenny says. She's in the front passenger seat. Jonah is driving and Chris and I are in the back seat. I've been staring out the window during my bout of self-reflection, so I pause my thoughts and look at her. She's turned around in the seat, her eyes moving excitedly between me and Chris. She looks really pretty tonight. She borrowed one of my maxi dresses and kept it simple with very little makeup. It's amazing what a difference there is between 15-year-old Jenny and 16-year-old Jenny. Hank said he can hook us up tonight. Chris lifts a hand and high-fives Jenny. I look back out the window, not sure that I like that she likes to get high. I've done it a handful of times. Move this. A byproduct of having a mother, the mother that we do. But Jenny is only 16 and partakes in whatever she can get her hands on at every party we go to. That's a big reason why I choose not to partake, because I've always had this sense of responsibility for her since I'm older and our mother doesn't regulate our activities in any way. Sometimes I feel like I'm Chris's babysitter too. The only one in this car that I don't have to babysit is Jonah. But that's not because he doesn't get drunk or high. He just seems to maintain a level of maturity despite whatever substances might be running through his system. He's one of the most consistent personalities I've ever encountered. He's quiet when he's drunk, quiet when he's high, quiet when he's happy, and somehow even quieter when he's mad. He's been Chris's best friend since they were kids, and they're like the male versions of me and Jenny, but opposite. Chris and Jenny are the life of every party. I'm so against this. She's right. I was younger than her when I started having sex. And if she's going to lose her virginity to someone, I guess it's good to know that it's a good person. Jonah has never taken advantage of her. In fact, he's known Jenny for an entire year and never made a pass at her until she was 16. It was frustrating to her, but it made me gain some respect for him. I sigh. You lose your virginity once, Jenny. I don't want this moment to be while you're drunk in a stranger's house having sex on someone else's bed. Jenny moves her head from side to side like she's actually contemplating what I've said. Then maybe we could do it in a car. I laugh, but not because that's funny. I laugh because she's making fun of me. That's exactly how I lost my virginity to Chris. Cramped in the backseat of his father's Audi. It was absolutely unremarkable and wholly embarrassing. And even though we got better, it would be nice if our first time had been something we could look back on with fonder memories. I don't even want to think about this or talk about this. It's hard being best friends with my little sister for this very reason. I want to be excited for her and hear all about it, but at the same time, I want to protect her from making the same mistakes that I made. I always just want better for her. I look at her sincerely, trying my best not to seem motherly. If it happens tonight, just stay sober, at least. Jenny rolls her eyes at my advice and crawls back into the front seat just as Jonah opens his door. Chris is back too, without beer. He slams the door and folds his arms over his chest. It really sucks having a baby face. I laugh and run my hand across his cheek, pulling his focus to mine. I like your baby face. That makes him smile. He leans in and kisses me, and pulls away just as soon as his lips meet mine. He taps Jonah's seat. You try it. Chris takes cash out of his pocket, reaches over to the front, dropping it on the console. Won't there be plenty of alcohol there? Jonah asks. It's the biggest graduation party of the year. The entire senior class will be there, and every one of us are underage. We'll need all the reinforcements we can get. Jonah reluctantly grabs the cash and gets out of the car. Chris kisses me again, this time with a tongue. He pulls back pretty quickly, though. What's in your mouth? I crunch down on the Jolly Rancher to break it. Candy. I want some, he says, bringing his mouth back to mine. Jenny groans from the front seat. Stop, I can hear you slurping. Chris pulls back with a grin, but also a piece of Jolly Rancher in his mouth. He bites down on it while putting on his seatbelt. It's been 6 weeks since we graduated. soon as he says that, I pull my eyes from his and look down at my drink. I do this because I'm afraid of what's happening right now. My chest is starting to feel full again, but one sec. Sorry, I got a text. That emptiness is being replaced with heat and flutters and heartbeats, and I hate it because I feel like I've just pinpointed what's caused me to feel so empty these last few weeks. Jonah. Sometimes when we're alone, he looks at me in a way that makes me feel empty when he looks away. It's a feeling I've never gotten when Chris looks at me. The realization scares me to death. Until lately, I've gone my whole life without experiencing this feeling, but now that I have, it's as if part of me disappears when the feeling disappears. I cover my face with my hands. Out of all the people in the world that I should want to be around, it's a shitty realization to know that Jonah Sullivan is at the top of that list. It's like my chest has been on constant search for its missing piece, and Jonah is holding it in his fist. I stand up. I need to get away from him. I'm in love with Chris, so it makes me uncomfortable and itchy when I'm alone with his best friend having these feelings. Maybe it's the soda starting to make me feel this way, or the fear that I might be pregnant. Maybe it has nothing to do with Jonah. I've been standing there for all of 5 seconds when, out of nowhere, Chris appears. His arms tighten around me right before he propels us both into the pool. I'm both pissed and relieved because I needed to get away from Jonah, but now I'm sinking into the deep end of a pool that I had no intentions of getting into fully clothed. I surface at the same time Chris does, but before I can yell at him, he pulls me to him and kisses me. I kiss him back because it's a much needed distraction. Where's Jenny? Chris and I both look up and Jonah is looming over us, glaring down at Chris. Don't know, Chris says. Jonah rolls his eyes. I asked you to keep an eye on her. She's drunk. Jonah walks toward the house to find Jenny. So am I, Chris says. Never ask a drunk person to babysit a drunk person. Chris moves a few feet until he can touch, and then he pulls me with him. He rests his back against the wall of the pool and positions me so that I'm holding onto his neck facing him. I'm sorry for what I said earlier. I don't think any version of you is boring. I pursed my lips together, relieved he noticed he was being an ass. I just want you to have fun tonight. I don't think you're having fun. I am now. I force a smile because I don't want him to notice the turmoil beneath the surface. I can't help but be worried, no matter how hard I try to pull off, that I put it off until I know for certain. I'm worried for him myself, for him, for us, for the child we might be bringing into this world way before either of us is ready. We can't afford this. We aren't prepared. I don't even know that Chris is the person I want to spend the rest of my life with. That's definitely something a person should be certain about before they go and create a human together. Want to know what my favorite thing about you is? Chris asks. My shirt keeps floating up to the surface, so he tucks it into the front of my jeans. You're a sacrificer. I don't know if that's a real word or not, but that's what you are. You do things you don't want to do to make the life better for the people around you. Like being the designated driver. That doesn't make you boring, it makes you a hero. I laugh. Chris becomes complimentary when he's drunk. Sometimes I make fun of him for it, but I secretly love it. You're supposed to say something you love about me now, he says. I look up and to the left like I'm trying to think really hard. He squeezes my side playfully. I love how much fun you are. I say, you make me laugh even when you frustrate me. Chris smiles. A dimple appears in the center of his chin. He has a great smile. If I am pregnant and do end up having his child together, my neck and grips my cheeks. You won't. Then he kisses me. Even though his kiss doesn't fill up my chest like Jonah's looks sometimes do, I do feel a comforting reassurance in this moment, in his words, in his love for me. Whatever happens when I finally take a pregnancy test tomorrow, I'm confident he'll support me. It's just who Chris is. Guys, we should go, Jonah says. Chris and I separate and look up at Jonah. He's holding Jenny. Her arms are wrapped around his neck and her face is pressed against his chest. She's groaning. I told her not to get on that table, Chris mutters, climbing out of the pool. He helps me out and we squeeze as much water as we can from our clothes before heading to Jonah's car. Luckily, the seats are leather. I get into the driver's seat since Chris assumes that Jonah has been drinking. Jonah gets in the back seat with Jenny. Chris is flipping through songs on the radio when we both pull away from the party. Bohemian Rhapsody has just started playing on one of the stations, so Chris turns it up and starts to sing. A few seconds later, Jonah is singing along. Surprisingly, I quietly joined them. There's no way any human can hear this song while driving and not sing along, even if they're in the midst of a pregnancy scare at the age of 17, while feeling things for someone in the back seat of a car that they should only be feeling for the person in the front passenger's seat.